aka Shantizi on Twitter and Instagram, or just simply just Shante. So I am here with my daily spiel, my daily analysis. So I'm just gonna read these COVID numbers off really quickly. So globally, in 189 countries now, according to the John Hopkins website, we have 40,706,706 cases of COVID-19 throughout the whole entire world. The death toll in 189 countries and out of all countries is 1,123,767. The confirmed cases here in the U.S., which we account for a fifth of those cases, we're at 8,266,771. The death toll here at home is 220,994. In other countries, you see India has 7.5 cases, Brazil has 5.2, Russia has 1.4, Argentina has 1,018,999 cases, Spain has 988 cases, 988,322 cases. Colombia has 974,139 cases. France has 973,723. Peru has 807,870. Mexico has 860,714, and the UK rounds out that top 10 with 765,487. Now, at home in the U.S., according to the New York Times COVID map, California has 886,100. They're almost close to a million. Texas has 879,275. Florida has 760,381. New York has 491,216. Illinois has 356,134. Georgia has 328,150. North Carolina has 249,148. Arizona has 232,939. Tennessee has 229,794, and New Jersey rounds out that top 10 with 223,982. And we still have no national coordinated plan. However, Mitch McConnell said today regarding the COVID bill that he does not want to negotiate with Nancy Pelosi, and this is according to a news source, and I'm just going to read the content to you. So here it is. No, that's the one with Trump. So according to Jeff Barrett at NBC News, he reported that Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell told his members in a closed-door meeting lunch that he told the White House not to agree to a COVID deal with Speaker Pelosi ahead of the election. The sources familiar told Ella Caldwell, D.C., and Julia, NBC News, and the Washington Post was the first to report it. I mean, come on, folks. Are we surprised at, and I'm going to say the whole name, Addison Mitchell McConnell Jr.'s tactic with stalling everything? He's trying to sham through some skinny bill that is $500 billion that don't even include the stuff that's in the HEROES Act. The stuff in the HEROES Act includes the extra $600 for people that's on unemployment, that has unemployment but needs that extra $600. It also includes money in contract tracing and testing, and it also includes the student loan forgiveness, also include rent relief and another round of stimulus checks. And Mitch McConnell's bill, it don't even include a second round of stimulus checks because he was asked that today. I am not surprised that Mr. Addison Mitchell McConnell Jr. will do such thing. He is the reason why the Senate is in a disarray. He's the reason why the Senate is partisan and divided and all such like it. This is exactly why he has to go. And yes, we all wanted Charles Booker. I didn't really pay attention to the Senate race too much, but I know he said a lot of good substantive things that he was interviewed. And he said a lot of things that resonated with so many voters in Kentucky. But apparently, people wanted Amy McGrath, so that's what it is. And according to the debate, she was actually pretty substantive. Even though her interview with Joy Reid could have been 10 times better when it comes to the Black community, and that's something that she's going to have to work on if she wants to get elected. I see she's trying to make inroads. She's trying, but she needs to do a lot better. A whole lot better. And she needs to be interviewed with more Black media. She can go to Roland Martin, because Roland Martin interviews everybody and at all sides of the aisle. And his show is very substantive. Very substantive. And I watch it. And I'm going to start donating because he does say a lot of things. And I've been watching since he was on TV One. So he makes a hell of a lot of sense. So I wish Miss McGrath the best in her race, because that's going to be a tough fight with Addison Mitchell McConnell Jr. It is going to be. And but according to that debate performance, her poll numbers did move up, and she is collaborating with Charles Booker. So they are finding some common ground to work together. So this is exactly why people need to stop the bullshit, the partisan politics, because it's about saving our democracy, saving this country from burning down to the ground, because Donald Trump has run this country's reputation down to the ground. And I would just leave it as that. But there are people that are voting. Over 40 million people have voted. Over 48% of Democrats have turned out in early voting. I can imagine what election day is going to look like. It's going to look like mayhem. But I know in my state, early voting starts this Saturday. I will be partaking in early voting next week, Thursday. I like to go during the week where it's not crazy amount of people, even though the lines will be long, but it's not going to be craziness. Because the weekend, I always find things to be crazy. But this is going to be good. So please turn out and vote. If you need to educate yourself on Joe Biden, which I don't understand, you are undecided at this time. But if those are still undecided, go to joebiden.com, learn more about his policies. And his policies are actually very detailed, concise, and it's doable. It could pass through the Senate and the House. So, yeah. Enough on COVID-19. Mr. You-know-who, the COVID super spreader in chief, because he still has COVID in my mind, because he all hawking and spitting and shit, walked out of an interview with 60 Minutes, CBS 60 Minutes. So according to Caitlin Collins at CNN, she said apparently there has been some drama while Trump was taping his 60-minute interview today. He abruptly ended his solo interview after around 45 minutes and did not return for a scheduled walk and talk he was supposed to tape with Pence, according to Khalid Abdullah. And I were told those sources. Biden and Harris were also interviewed by 60 Minutes, and all are scheduled to appear in the same program. While Biden and Harris taped their interviews separately, Trump and Pence were scheduled to appear on camera together. They ultimately did not, and Pence taped his own. I mean, are we surprised? He was proudly pressed by the interviewer, I believe was Leslie, on amount of questions, especially when it came to COVID and probably during his diagnosis. Because after he was diagnosed with COVID, you think he would take a new route on taking this virus seriously. No. I know that he will not change after COVID. Donald Trump, as I said in the video, has no grace. Literally has no grace for nothing. It's like something very tragic has to happen to Donald Trump, like losing this race, to understand to be humble. But he will never. They're trying to ram through Amy Coney Barrett on Thursday instead of actually working on legislation or meeting with Nancy Pelosi, actually putting her bill on the floor that's been sitting on Addison Mitchell McConnell's desk for the last couple of months. But like I said, Donald Trump wants this Supreme Court there, so when the elections come, he could say like the election is rigged, which is not going to be rigged because people are tired of your shit. Like New Yorkers have been tired of your shit for the last 40, 50 years. Even 30 something, because I'm 34. I'm tired of your shit. So that's the reason why this election is so important. Like all elections are important, right? But this one here, we got to save our democracy. So that's why he probably ran out of that bitch. And probably asked about the Russian bounties. He was probably asked about that because nobody has not asked him about that shit. They probably asked him about the Supreme Court, and he probably gave a half-ass answer, and COVID. So there you have it. So I wish the media, though, will stop, babying him and stop all this bullshit with him, because honestly, I'm tired of that shit too. Just saying. Now with something serious, Breonna Taylor. So Bull Connor in blackface, Kentucky AG, Daniel Cameron seemed to really hate his own people. So I'll just read from Gabe Gutierrez. This is a statement from Juror 1. So it says, breaking statement from Grand Juror 1. I'm going to read it sideways. Being one of the jurors on Breonna Taylor's case was a learning experience. The 3 weeks of service leading up to that presentation show how the grand jury normally operates. The Breonna Taylor case was quite different. After hearing the Attorney General Daniel Cameron's press conference, and with my duty as a grand juror being over, my duty as a citizen compelled action. The grand jury was not presented any charges other than the 3 wanton endangerment charges against Detective Hankerson. Wanton endangerment on Breonna Taylor's neighbors, her white neighbors, and not her black neighbors, including her life. The grand jury did not have homicide offenses explained to them. The grand jury never heard anything about those laws. Self-defense or justification was never explained. Questions were asked about additional charges, and the grand jury was told there would be none because the prosecutors didn't feel they could not make them stick. The grand jury didn't agree that certain actions were justified, nor did it decide the indictment should be the duty charges in the Breonna Taylor's case. The grand jury was not given the opportunity to deliberate on those charges and deliberate only on what was presented to them. I cannot speak for other juries, but I can help the truth to be told. So right then and there, Daniel Cameron is a whole ass liar. He needs to resign. Kentucky Democratic Governor Andy Beshear needs to appoint a special prosecutor. If it's a U.S. attorney or just a regular schmegula attorney from an independent prosecutor from a law firm, because Daniel Cameron seemed to walk the toll line of the current occupant, the COVID super spreader in chief, his whole agenda of protecting the police. I understand he's a Republican. I get it. But you want to put your partisan politics aside for a second. And what about human decency? What about the decency of Black life? As a Black man, he should understand what it feel like to be stopped by police. But obviously, he doesn't think so. He doesn't think he doesn't belong to us. So I'm going to use Tamika Mally's line and say, Mr. Daniel Cameron, you don't belong to us. You do not belong to Black people. And the reason why you don't belong to us because you don't value our lives. This is why women activists and women rappers say protect Black women, because we are not protected even by our own men. This toxic masculinity is toxic as fuck. As a Black woman, sometimes I don't feel like protected by my own men. Thank you. That's a compliment. I'm a nasty, whack it lady. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Anyway. My life, I feel like my life is not protected. And that is exactly why this election matters. It matters. And we need to vote like hell. Seriously. Anyway. My life, I feel like my life is not protected. And that is exactly why this election matters. It matters. And we need to vote like hell. See, like I said, I am not giving airtime to top ass super washer, wash, whatever your fucking name is. And you call me a whack it lady. So I said thank you. But I don't do the back and forth. I'm not a Twitter thug. But trust me, I will ruin you. But I blocked you to save you from that, that embarrassment. Just looking for that. Just looking for another word, but I'm going to use embarrassment. But anyhow, I feel like my Black life as a Black woman, I feel like it's not valued, even by like my own, like I said. And Daniel Cameron just proved that each and every day. 50 Cent proved it in his tweet where he said, I don't care if Donald Trump don't like Black people. That's ridiculous. And you, sir, are a victim of a whole bunch of gun violence. You should be like screaming on the top of your lungs. But obviously, this is what happens when people get $2. When Black folks are thrown a couple dollars, sometimes they forget who they are. And he's not the only one. Ice Cube. It's a lot of them. Herschel Walker, Jack Brewer, Jim Brown, Steve Harvey. Y'all niggas is sellouts. Dead ass. Because y'all seem not to care. Your biggest fans are middle class, working class, Black and brown people. You should be advocating down the fucking block for us. Screaming off the top of your motherfucking lungs. And you're not. And it's shameful. Very shameful. With this Breonna Taylor case, I see a lot of Black women marching. I see Portia from Real Housewives. I see Yandy from Love and Hip Hop. Believe it or not, she does advocate for Black lives. Tamika Malley from my city, from the Bronx. She's another, and she's a rising activist. And she's an activist by trade, by all means necessary. It's Black women that is standing in the line of fire, risking their bodies to make sure our lives matter. Some of these Black men, because you got a good percentage, don't give a fuck. They don't. But I appreciate the ones that do care. That care so much about us. Deeply. And that's what I have to say about that. But on another topic, I want to talk about these progressives. So I'll just read one of the tweets to you guys, because I'm like that sick of some of these progressives, and it's so sad because I consider myself as a liberal and a progressive, and for these people to call themselves progressives and you haven't done anything that's progressive, okay. So I'll just read one of the tweets from U.S. House Congressional District for the Missouri 1st Congressional District, Cori Bush. If you're having a bad day, just think of all the social services we're going to fund after we defund the Pentagon. Okay. Defunding the Pentagon should not be your primary focus. You're not even there yet. And you're fighting an election. You probably will win that congressional seat. And if you do, when you get in there, you are going to join the Congressional Black Caucus. You are going to join the Progressive Caucus. And your house, your chamber in the House is going to work on coronavirus relief and tackling the economy, to repair the economy, the budget, all of that and above. The Pentagon should be the last thing you should be worrying about. Because, yes, we don't want to fight another war. I hate this war more than anything. This war started when I was 17, and I'm almost 35. However, we have a global pandemic going on right now. Our country has a deficit over $1 trillion, thanks to the COVID super spreader in chief. See, with some of these progressives, their priorities get all fucked up and shit. And my thing is like, you're losing focus on what's going on in this country. We have a global pandemic resulting in a recession. We got climate change going on. We got racial reckoning. The Pentagon is not even stealing funds. They're not even fully funded like that. You worry about a bill that Bernie put on the floor? He's not even worrying about that right now. Everybody's worrying about tackling the coronavirus because we're in wave fucking 3. Her state has about 164,891 cases of COVID, almost 165,000. Her county that she represents has 28,380. And you're worrying about defunding the Pentagon? That should not even be your primary focus. But you know what? I'm the bad guy here. I'm the mean one. I'm the bitch. Oh, Shantae, you're coming at the progressives. No. Some of them making terrible ass fucking choices. And another one. I have to point out some more folks. Crystal Ball is another jackass who seemed to not understand or comprehend. So she tweeted this. President Obama had the House and supermajority in the Senate. He passed an insurance giveaway health care bill with no public option, failed to break up the banks, failed to rescue homeowners. Then he had the audacity to blame progressive for his administration failures. Progressives or the Republican Party? Are you mad he couldn't go hard enough because he was actually trying to make sure people have health care? Because the time that, see, here's the thing with these folks. Let's do civics 101. When President Obama was elected in 2008, he was elected during the worst financial recession before this one. That's 12 years ago, around this time. People have lost their homes then. People lost their apartments in 2008 before he got in there. So when he was elected, he said, we'll take more than one term. When he came, it was $1.3 trillion on his desk. From number 43, which was George W. Bush. He bailed out the auto industry so people can keep their jobs. He made sure people have health care because I was one of the 32 million people then that was kicked off my parents' insurance. And I just came out of college in 2008. That year, I graduated May of 2008, and I had no health care. I found out when I got into a fight and my eye was injured, I had no health care. I had to come out of my pocket. Thanks to President Obama, I was able to have health care each and every year. Single payer health insurance will actually charge more Americans money that make $29,000 and more. And $29,000 ain't shit. Because I made $29,000 quite a while, like about a couple years ago. So that's one. People have lost their homes. People have lost their homes before he got in there. If anything, President Obama saved those people to make sure they have their homes. He probably wanted to do more, but he couldn't do more because there was moderates was actually blocking things that he wanted to do. It was the moderate Democrats. Some of them same ones in the Senate that because he was doing the whole energy jobs thing, and some of those moderate Democrats in the Midwest was like, coal jobs, the coal jobs, the coal. And they all lost their seat because they did not back President Obama. So I would like for Crystal Ball and all these other dumbass progressives to keep their fucking mouth shut if they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That was nothing but rhetoric. And this is exactly why half of them don't win their elections, because you speak against the most popular Democratic president of modern day history. You dumb fuck. Stop being stupid. And I don't hate progressives. Don't go around and say, oh, Shanta hates progressives, because I don't. I really don't. I just don't like dumbass rhetoric. If you're going to run for office, you may not want to talk about the most popular Democratic president to date, because you're going to need his blessing. And the people that he actually endorsed, most of them do when they're races, congressional or Senate. Just saying. I'm just saying. And this is exactly why we have to vote. Because what is at stake? We have, literally, we're facing 5 crises simultaneously. It's so much to juggle. So much to juggle, excuse me. We have a global pandemic resulting into a global recession. We have climate change that, we're not experiencing normal seasons. Like, we're still having like a continuous Indian summer because it was a little warm out here today. And that includes we have multiple hurricanes. Some places have snow already. We have racial reckoning. As you can see with the whole Breonna Taylor case, we even have some my own black men seem to not give a fuck. And of course, the guy in the White House don't give a fuck. And now we are about to enter into a constitutional crisis that Amy Coney Barrett is going to be confirmed to the Supreme Court on Thursday, because there's a bigger majority in the Senate than in the House of Representatives. And she's going to be the deciding factor. She's not going to recuse herself once Donald Trump claims the election is rigged, which the election is not going to be rigged, because it's true. This is what the fuck we're facing. We're literally facing all of this madness, like deliberately all of this madness. So when people say, what's in it for me? This should make you explain. This should make you even run to the polls. Bring your chair, bring your water, bring your snacks or whatever when you're standing outside, because I know I will. Well, Paul, great for you. Vote for Trump. Vote for I'm assuming you don't care about my black life, but that's okay. You can vote for him. I'm not judging you. You can vote for whoever. I'm not telling people who to vote for, but if I just explained everything you need to know. If you don't like what I said, you can, shoot off this live. I don't care. But like I said, this should make you, all of these things, the Supreme Court, public health crisis, the economy, climate change, racial reckoning, Because sometimes I feel like not sometimes, I feel like my black life don't matter. It seems like no race of people care about me, but my black sisters. And even some of my black sisters that vote for Trump, I feel like they don't care neither. I got to keep it 100. Got to keep it a buck. So it is what it is. So this is what is at stake, and this is what we're dealing with. So I hope everyone completely understands that we're just facing some shit. And if we do not vote in troves, our democracy will be gone forever. Literally will be gone forever. So I hope this message, you heard some F-bombs here and there. I hope you take this into consideration. I really do. And if early voting is going on in your state right now, I encourage you to take advantage. Well, I'm glad you were taught to care. Thank you. So please vote. And it starts with you. Because when you vote, things change. Until then, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.